So let me start to record and look at the practice exercise that I produce for you. And I'll do it. And then we'll talk about the midterm. I hope more people will join us. Good morning. So we're going to have a midterm that will consist of only 2 exercises. I think that is going to make lots of people happy. And first problem is going to look pretty much same as the one that I have made up here that utilizes last digits of your student ID. So what I did, I just made up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the very last digit 6 is what I will recommend to use for the first exercise. So I call it as a letter B here. So if you have your last digit 6, then you would just put 6 here. If your last digit is 0, you put 0, or if it's a 9, you put 9. So whatever last digit of your student ID is, you just replace it with letter B, and then you do the problem that asks you to graph parabola. So if you have any preference for some other digit than 6, just tell me. I will use it to do this exercise for you right now. And again, problems will be same, but the reason I did this because answers are not supposed to be the same for take-home test, so there should be a little bit different. So the only reason I want you to use this last digits of your student ID is for the whole class not to get exactly the same answer. So someone said use 9. So I can use instead of B number 9. And that's what you put instead of B. So looks like 9 plus 1 will be 10 then, right? 10x. And then still have minus x squared, and then minus 10x, and then plus 1. You want to do it with 6 also. I can also do it with 6. Turns out it's going to be pretty much same process, and you will see this. So if you put 6 instead, then it'll be 6 plus 1, so it'll be 7x, and then plus 1. So let me do both. So if you have equation with a negative in front of x squared, then you need to take out this minus to prepare yourself to complete the square process. So we're going to put the change of sign. Instead of minus 10, we'll have plus 10. Then I will leave a little bit of a room to be able to add and to subtract a half of 10, right? Half of 10, which is 5. So I'm going to add 5 squared and then subtract 5 squared, which is actually 25, right? So this way I didn't change anything because I added and subtracted 25 inside of the parentheses. And then I will be able to put this perfect square that we need for the exercise. So it's going to be coming from first term, from x squared, my first term, and from the third term, from number 5, last term, right? So we put plus sign because everything is positive. And then we're also going to have a minus in front of this parentheses with negative 25. So just copy whatever is left here and plus 1. So now I'm going to distribute this negative, and you have your student ID, right? The one that was given to you by the Miami-Dade College. So that's what you need to utilize. I'm sure you know what your student ID is, or if not, you can check the website or your schedule of classes that you paid for, and it should show your student ID in it. So I will tell you exactly, use last digit of your student ID to do the problem. So use this last digit, which I call as B for convenience. If you're not going to be sure what this means, I will be logged into Zoom in the morning on Monday, and I can always clarify you, help you to figure out what that means, last digit of your student ID. No problem. I will be logged into Zoom, even though you don't really have to come to that Zoom class on Monday, because I'll give you pretty much unlimited time to do the exercise. So this way you don't have to hurry and just make picture of your work and email it to me. So if you are logged in, that's very good. I'm happy that you were able to make it in spite of everything. That's good. So anyways, I just finished up with completing square for this exercise, and now I know how to find the vertex. Remember, there was a little formula. Yes, midterm is on Monday. It's in the syllabus also. I will write it down. Let me finish with this exercise, but next week, Monday, I will email you the midterm, exact same way as I emailed to you the practice for the midterm exercise, the one that I'm doing right now. So for the formula for the vertex, we had x minus h squared plus k. So the vertex in general for parabolas, you can find using this formula that says hk is a pair that is called as a vertex. There's some kind of coefficient in front, like here we have a -1. But once you completed the square, then you can see what the vertex is. So if you have an exam scheduled for Monday, then it is due on Monday, right? So I give you two problems, and how much time you need to do two problems. 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours. Okay, do it for 10 hours, but send it back to me on Monday so I can grade it and update your grade on Canvas. So it looks like vertex will be what? 5 is what I subtracted from x, so that's going to change the sign with -5. And for y is going to be 26. So here's the vertex. That's the first part of exercise. And the second part is graph. So to graph parabola, I need to put this vertex on the xy plane. So that's going to be -5 here someplace, and there's 26. So you can clearly mark coordinates of this vertex. And then your parabola is going to be opening downwards, because this is actually negative, right, in front of x squared. So that's another part. So what's important to do on the midterm is follow directions, such as show all your work for credit. So if you don't show work, then you're not going to get a full credit. And I give you plenty of time to show your work. But of course, you want to take this seriously. You want to, on Monday, get an internet access wherever you are, and just check your student email, and you will see the midterm in it, and just do it and send me a picture of your midterm so I can grade it. So anyways, I was also asked to do the same exercise, but with a different number in front of the x term. So you want to scroll down like that, or you cannot see my screen. So looks like that's all I have on the screen. Maybe you can try. Oh, this is okay. Okay, no problem. All right, so yeah, sometimes you might have something on your screen, so you can just move it away, just because sometimes those things could be like that box, that chat or whatever. So maybe that's just try to move it away, just practice. So anyways, let's do it again, but now with a -7 in front of x. Let's complete the square. Using the same exact steps, I will first of all take the negative out. So we're going to have just positive x squared in here. Then plus 7x. And then I will leave a little room and keep that +1 away. So first step is to prepare to add and to subtract. And all you have to do is send it to me, right? Yes. How would you be able to send it to me? Well, your midterm. And you will send it to me by email, make a picture or scan it or something like that, right? So practice, you can send to me also, you don't have to, but because I'll grade the midterm, but if you want, you can also submit it. But again, it's up to you. I'm not asking for that because I'm doing it for you right now. So if your student ID has 3, then you put 3 instead of B and add 1, it's going to be 4. If it's 5, you add 1, it's going to be 6. So whatever your last digit of student ID is, you put it here instead of letter B, and then you will be able to do the exercise. I just want to make sure that not everyone in class has exact same answer. So yes, I will discuss that. Let me finish up with this problem and then we'll discuss whatever related to homework and the other stuff. So let me take a half of this number 7, and that's going to be adding this 7 halves, right? Because 7 you can't really nicely divide by 2, so you're going to add and subtract this fraction squared, 7/2. So when
where did you get 7/2 from?
I divided 7 by 2. We always do that. It's standard precision. In the previous exercise, I divided 10 by 2. When I divided 10 by 2, it becomes 5. And 7 divided by 2, it's 3.5. So whatever is with x, we divided by 2. So anyways, let me get the half of that square actually completed. So I added 7/2 squared and subtracted 7/2 squared. So when I square 7, it's 49. When I square 2, it's 4. So whatever the number is, I just add it and subtract. So now inside the parentheses, we get that letter x, and that's 7/2 with a plus in the middle because everything is positive squared. So the whole point is to complete the square, and that's exactly what was just done. And then we copy the remaining portion, such as 49/4. So you can divide 49 by 4 with a calculator if you don't like fractions. So it's going to be like 12.25. I say, how would you know that? Well, get a calculator and divide. You can just type here. Get the scientific calculator for you. And once you get this 49 quarters, you will get 1225. That's all it is. Go over the same B. B equal to 6. I was asked to do the problem was B equal to 6. So and that's what I'm doing. I guess I'm not understanding the question. You want to go over the same B. So I'm going with the same B. I'm going with B equal to 6. So B plus 1 is same as 6 plus 1, which is 7. So I'm using that B plus 1, which is multiplied by X, and that's what I put here. Right? Just like that. So last digit, I was asked to use 6, so I'm using 6. I was also asked to use 9.
For the problem, where do we plug in A?
In this problem, you don't plug in A, you plug in B. So you just read direction. It says use last digit of your student ID, which I call as B. So you put the last digit, which is going to be whatever's last digit of your student ID is.
Wait, so we're not supposed to use A at all?
Not in this exercise. There'll be second problem, and that's where I will ask you to use digit before the last one. So let me finish with this problem so we can discuss all that. So I distribute negative, we get X plus 7 over 2, or you can put it as 3.5 squared. And then you distribute negative, so it becomes positive 12.25. And then you still have that plus 1. So finally, I'm going to get the equation with a negative in front of this X plus 3.5 squared, and then 13.25. So I purposely put fractions and then decimals. Just make sure you realize it doesn't really matter if you put the answer with fractions or with decimals. It's the same thing. So it makes no difference to me as long as you give me the answer and show your work so you can see that vertex now is negative 3.5 and positive 13.25. So you put this vertex someplace here. So once you mark coordinates of this special point, definitely can see that you found the vertex. And then again, probably will open down because of negative in front of X squared. So now the exercise is going to be pretty much the same for everyone, but the vertex is going to be a little bit different, right? So you get a little different numbers. So there'll be 2 problems on the midterm. So for first exercise, you're going to need to use last digit of your student ID. And for the second exercise, I will ask you to use a digit before the last. And that's what you were talking about, A, like here. Well, let me show you what type of second exercise we're going to have on this midterm. And then we'll also talk about homework. I know that you're anxious to do the homework, and that's very good and impressive. So I guess I'm gonna clean a little bit of this mess and take a look at what we have done so far. So again, the midterm will be a Monday next week. So you should be able to find the internet access to it. So midterm is next Monday. And I will give you the whole day to work on it. I will email it to you first thing Monday morning, and I will wait for you to email me your midterm solutions. And if I don't receive it sometime Monday night, I will send you a reminder email that I need to get your midterm. So that day, homework is also going to be due. And for the homework, you should do problems from those sections that we covered in class. So we did 1.1, 1.2 was barely touched. So it's basically 1.1 and 1.3. If you did something from 1.2, it's great. You can also submit that. Now from chapter 2, we looked at first 5 sections from 2.1 through 2.5. And then we also moved to chapter number 3, right? So in chapter 3, we worked with those lines and the others. So it was 3.1, 3.3, and 3.5. So this homework, you can also see that I've done, I think, plenty of problems from each of these sections. So you can basically check recordings of lectures and just do the same problems that done in those recordings. I guess that should be not too hard. And I hope by Monday you will be able to finish up with this and send it to me by email. So I will also look at your homework. So anyways, let's talk about the second exercise for this coming midterm that I selected from section 2.5. So that's where we used to move those graphs around, so-called transformations for the graphs. So let me get to this end of the section and just do a similar exercise to what I put on that midterm for you. So we were graphing various functions from so-called library of functions. So how about exercise like number 57? Exercise 57 asks to deal with a cubic parabola. So you need to recall that y is equal to x cubed has a special graph with one end that points up and the other end of this parabola that points down. So this is our cubic parabola. So now I need to deal with a negative in front of it, so I can show a few steps here. So first, transformation, for example, would be graphing the negative in front of x cubed. So this is the one we start with. Next will be shift by 1 unit to the left or right direction if you have +1 in the parentheses. It looks like it's going to go to the left, right? So the cubic parabola then will look like that. Again, one end should go up and the other down. So let me do it carefully. So this is my cubic parabola here. And there. And notice that I'm trying to always clarify what it is I just graphed. So I'm going to put the equation of it as a negative in front of x plus 1 raised to the power of 3. And finally, we're going to shift it again by 1 unit, but downwards, right? So here's going to be the -1. And then the same curve, cubic parabola, it looks like that. So I can write my equation next to it, which is a minus x plus 1 raised to the power of 3 in the parentheses, and then subtract 1 from the whole thing. And again, that's what means to show all of your work. So you show a few steps how you do this transformation for the graphs. So if you, again, don't show all of your work, well, then I guess I'm going to have to subtract something. So I'll give you a little lower credit. And that's why, again, I will give you plenty of time so you can do problem carefully, slowly, double check, triple check. And I'm sure that this test should not take you longer than an hour to do, but I give you as much time as you need on that Monday. So I guess they're just 2 problem tests, should not be too long. And if we didn't do 2.3, then maybe you can skip it. So don't do 2.3, no problem. So thank you for remembering. So 2.1, 2.2, 2.4, and 2.5. So skip 2.3. Yes. Well, I guess that's pretty much all I needed to say about the midterm. So I told you it's up to you if you want to email me your midterm practice or not. It's not required because I just did it for you. But if you want to practice more, then you can practice. I think it's always a good idea. But again, I'm not requiring. Send me homework. I need to see your homework, the ones that I just listed here. So concentrate on the homework. And of course, it's always a good idea to do homework before the exam, not after the exam. So this way you better prepare for the test. So you can send me your homework at any time, because now you know what sections you should look at. So do problems from those sections and email me your homework. And please make sure you tell me what class you are taking, that you're at 9:15 class. So that way I will find you right away. So if any other questions, please let me know. I hope I answered everything was asked so far. And if you don't have any questions, I'll let you go and put your homework together. So I'm not giving you a quiz today because we don't have any new material. I just gonna check my emails and see what you've done for the homework. And yes, I will email you the midterm exactly the same way I emailed you a practice midterm, exactly the same way. So you need to check your email on Monday, open it, and do the midterm. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.